They say history is written not just in grand monuments or towering statues, but in the smallest of things. And sometimes those small things carry the weight of eras, of lives lived and moments past. One such object is a coin, small enough to slip into your pocket, yet powerful enough to tell stories that outlive generations. This story begins with a single coin, a 5 Kopiyok piece minted in Ukraine in 2008. At first glance, there is nothing extraordinary about it. It is round, metallic, and carries the same familiar design that has passed through countless hands over the years. But beneath the surface, hidden in plain sight, lies a story that very few people know. A story of rarity, of value, of historical quirks, and of the extraordinary becoming legend. Imagine holding a coin that millions once spent without a second thought. A coin that jingled in pockets, rested in drawers, and perhaps lay forgotten at the bottom of a bag. The 5 Kopiyok coin was part of daily life in Ukraine for years, blending into the rhythm of everyday transactions. It was used to buy bread, to pay for a ride, to complete a transaction by the narrowest of margins. Its value was small, but its presence was constant. Minted in large numbers over the years, the coin was a staple of Ukrainian currency. Yet something unusual happened in 2008. That year, for reasons not officially documented in full detail, a batch of coins was struck that differed subtly from the rest. The differences weren't glaring. Most people would never notice them at all. But to the trained eye, to the collector with an eye for anomalies, the changes stood out like quiet whispers in a crowded room. The coin still bore the familiar design. The denomination on one side, the national emblem of Ukraine on the other, surrounded by a decorative wreath. But the alignment, the thickness of the lines, the size of the font, even the color tone of the metal appeared just slightly different in certain specimens. A minor minting anomaly, perhaps, or maybe an experimental run that was never intended to enter wide circulation. The truth remains uncertain. What is known, however, is that coins with these variations are exceptionally rare. And rarity, as any collector will tell you, is the first ingredient in value. Numismatists, the scholars and collectors of currency, began to take notice. Whispers started spreading in forums, at trade shows, in the quiet corners of auctions. A few of these 2008 coins had surfaced, and they weren't like the others. At first, they passed unnoticed. Then, someone spotted the difference. Soon, others confirmed the irregularities. A pattern emerged, but the supply didn't grow. Unlike other rare coins that emerge in small hoards or through old bankrolls, this variant seemed to appear sporadically and in extremely limited numbers. That scarcity set the stage for something bigger. It's easy to dismiss a small coin as irrelevant. After all, how could something so common become valuable? But that's the trick. Value is not born from what something is. It's born from how rare it is, how much it's desired, how unique its journey has been. And in this case, the 2008 5 Kopiyok coin began to climb the ranks of desirability. Collectors across Eastern Europe, then across the continent, and eventually around the world began searching for it. The demand rose, but the supply remained the same. Just a handful of these rare variants were ever found. The mystery only deepened. People began asking questions. Why was this variant produced? Was it a minting error? A test batch? An internal experiment? The National Bank of Ukraine offered no detailed public statement. The silence added fuel to the fire. When something valuable is not only rare but also unexplained, it becomes more than a collectible, it becomes a legend. Speculation swirled. Some said the coin was part of a discontinued design test. Others believed it was minted during a transitional phase in materials, or that a foreign mint may have been contracted to produce a small run using different dyes. Without official confirmation, all possibilities remained open, and in that uncertainty lay its allure. One of the most fascinating aspects of this coin is how its story mirrors the modern history of Ukraine itself, a country with a complex past, shaped by resilience and transformation, a place where change is often subtle but deeply felt, just like the coin in question. As the years passed, fewer of these coins surfaced. Most 2008 5 Kopiyok coins were ordinary, but every now and then, a collector would stumble upon one that matched the variant profile. Unique alignment, altered font, subtle changes to the wreath, or even a slightly different alloy sheen. Each discovery was met with excitement and deep analysis. Forums filled with macro photographs, measurements, comparisons, metallurgical data. The community of collectors had turned into detectives. And the prize? A coin that was once worth just a fraction of $1, now growing exponentially in worth. The turning point came when one of these coins sold privately for an amount that stunned the collecting world. The exact figure was never publicly confirmed, but rumors suggested it reached into the six-figure range. That sale changed everything. What was once a curiosity had now become a verified asset. Other collectors began re-examining their own holdings, hoping to find the elusive piece hiding in their drawers or jars. The hunt intensified, and as it did, the legend of the 2008 Ukraine 5 Kopiyok grew even stronger. Auctions began listing verified variants. Private sales escalated in value. Authentication methods became more sophisticated. And through it all, the coin remained quiet, unchanged, simple, unassuming. This was no gold coin. It wasn't encrusted with jewels or engraved with royal lineage. It was made from inexpensive metal, with a basic design meant for mass use. Yet that very simplicity is what makes its journey so remarkable. For a coin like this to rise in value, to become the object of desire among seasoned collectors, it must carry something far more precious than materials. It must carry a story.